My insanity, we have the lovely Mr. ABomB. And his opponent in the top right from FM Esports, we have the red Zerg, and it is RMP.
We're getting an apology from ABomB right now for for his Marine King / Fantasy GG timing over there on Belsier stage, but unfortunately Blink didn't quite save him in the end, because while the upgrade did actually finish researching, he had approximately a quarter of the number of Stalkers required to push the army back there. But never mind, he's going to live to fight another day. He's still on match point, of course. He's 2-1 up in a best of 5, so he has 2 more opportunities to win here.
2 more opportunities to win, of course, are going to be incredibly taxing, though, because when you are on match point, it is stressful. I think that's a fair thing to say, that especially when you've gone 2-0 down in a best of 5, and every match then could be the last for you. That's where we pressure on. But after game 3, clearly we're seeing RMP actually quite likes the pressure and deals with it well, coming back quite nicely. Now, Star Station, what are your thoughts on this map, Josal? What do you think some of the strategies these two could be employing may be?
Well, Star Station is a map where there's an incredibly open center, like even from the choke of the natural outwards. And the choke of the natural, frankly, isn't the smallest either. There's just so much open space that it's really quite frustrating late on to keep a hold of the 3rd and 4th base. So a lot of counter-attacking styles on this map, and a lot of harassing styles as well, will bode very, very well here. In particular, I'd really like to see ABomB maybe do a bit of what we saw in game number 1 and to an extent the last game as well, where he had the multiple warp prism drop play. I think that would be incredibly frustrating for RMP to deal with later on in this game as well. Maybe shuttling between the 3rd base and the main, for example, a very frustrating place to deal with. And ABomb's already proven to us that RMP sometimes has difficulty dealing with multiple attacks at once. So that would be what I'd like to see out of ABomB.
And I think that would be a very effective strategy. Now, RMP, he may mix things up even more. Mutalisks on this map are actually very effective as well, because there's so much dead space around all of the bases that it's really effective. And RMP, I can see him going for that, actually, because he does like a very Ling-heavy style for the ground dominance, quickly taking up 2 bases as well. It could go for 2-base Muta, even though that's quite uncommon nowadays. But yeah, for the moment, he's just mining off of that 1 gas. We can see that a couple of Zerglings have been made. No rush out for the 3rd, and that's to be expected, because RMP's playstyle in all of these games have, aside from game 1 of course, haven't been for a quick 3rd base. He prefers sitting back, and Star Station is one of those maps where you don't really want to get a super quick 3rd, because it is a little bit awkward to hold.
Exactly. Even if you're a player where macro is completely and utterly your strength, it might be the kind of thing where if you happen to have a 2-base build to apply a lot of pressure or all in your opponent, this is pretty much an ideal map to try and whip it out on, because that way you don't have to deal with any of the frustrations that come with the later game and getting your 3rd. So we'll see if either player is electing to do that. They are both, of course, on 2 bases at the moment, and ABomB has got his robotic facility about halfway done and about to complete his forge as well. So we could conceivably see some maybe some immortal timings here as well. That's totally feasible on this map.
Completely feasible. It's a good map to do it on, but that would have to go into the natural base and do quite nice. We see that RMP has just started up his lair, so he is going to be teching up rather quickly, which, as we said, it's a good thing to do on this map. We've also got the wall off completed here for ABomB. His gateway is, his 2nd gateway is now finished, and he is starting to pump out those immortals as well as getting the +1 ground weapons. An immortal sentry push is perfectly feasible here. But what is RMP going to be going for off these 2 bases? Do we reckon it'll be Aspire? Do we reckon it will be Swarm Hosts again?
Well, the last time I thought it was Aspire saw this exact behavior, and then Aspire definitely did not pop out here. But you're right, Battles. On this sort of map, the Aspire would actually be a decent option here. And 3rd and 4th gases are now completing. The layer has started as well, and he's actually going to be going, surprising us again, going for the Hydralisk Den here. What do you make of this?
It's brilliant in defending against an Immortal Sentry all in. But then it gets destroyed Yeah, but then it gets completely destroyed if a robotic spade throws down and a couple of colossi hit the field.
That's true. So the question is, has RMP seen anything that may be indicative of a possible Immortal Century all-in? Or is this just a map that he would expect it on from his opponent here? The answer is he hasn't actually seen anything in the main base, and he only knows there's a Forge and Gateway in the natural. So perhaps this is something he specifically prepared on this map, and the Ling at the Watchtower on the southern side is going to see the Mothership Core, a couple of Immortals and Zealots pop in here as well. So RMP knows that at least a few Immortals are out on the field right now, and that should probably be giving him a little bit of a smirk when it comes to deciding to go for those Hydras.
Yeah, the brilliant thing as well is this isn't even an Immortal Sentry push, it's an Immortal Zealot push, which has been popularized recently, and Ling Hydra is going to destroy this.
This is, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how the players actually handle this engagement. The Mothership Core, though, at least is on full energy, so he will have a mass recall available if it all goes wrong for ABomB. He hasn't seen a Hydralisk yet, but he will very shortly as he now moves on to Creep. Here we go.
Now, of course, the Hydras are about to start moving forward. The Zerglings coming in, trying to get this round, but look at how quickly those Zealots die. To these Hydras, there will be no escape here unless a mass recall is utilized. And no recall is going down to the Immortal Cores. That is...
Big mistake.
Yeah, that's nothing but a mistake here on ABomb's part. There was no reason not to recall there. He's going to lose the Mothership Core as well.
He panicked and hit a second time warp when he should have actually hit a recall. That was a huge mistake coming out of there from ABomB, and actually cost him a fair chunk of his army, because initially only 4 Zealots were in the firing line to those Hydras. By putting down that second time warp,
it's going to cost him the game.
It cost him his Mothership Core. It cost him 2 Immortals, and that's just not enough to replace by the time these Hydras move across the field. Even without speed, they're going to have so much firepower.
They do have the Group Spine upgrade, though, so increased range. The cannon is only just finishing up. There's only 4 sentries down there, but the entire wall is just going to get destroyed. Even if force fields start going down, it's just a matter of time here.
Yeah, unfortunately so, as we see buildings now getting picked off. The Forge is going down as well, and very soon the Gateway is going to be popping off the face of the Earth too. This is going to be a slow push in, and half-decent force fields here, but there just isn't enough in terms of units to actually push this back right now, and RMP is going to march all the way in. ABomB will probably have to tap out, and this means we're going to a game number 5.
Game number 5, and who would have thought this after we saw ABomB go 2-0 up? It looked like he was in such a nice position, but RMP's clearly loving